G'day all, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since the last few VR videos. I've had a few questions come inbound regarding my VR setup, quality. I thought it was a good opportunity to put together a video on my settings, tips, and other bits and pieces I've learned. I've just upgraded to nVidia RTX 5080, so this video will focus on a setup guide for iRacing in 2026. We'll try and do this in the right order that actually prevents headaches. We'll kick it away with drivers, Windows tweaks, then into Pimax Play, and finally iRacing, with the aim to get it as sharp and smooth as we can. Before we kick off, I've got some housekeeping. I'd like to thank Pimax for recently inviting me to take part in their affiliate program. What this means is if you're in the market for a headset, you can help me out by purchasing via the links in the description. At the same time, you can use the code CAM77 for a discount. However, I would like to say that I bought this headset with my own money, and this is not a sponsored video. Before we begin, just go over my system specs. Windows 11 Home, we're running a i7 14700F, 32 gigabytes DDR5, a couple of SSDs, one for Windows, one for everything else, and the new edition, the RTX 5080. First off, we'll get the Windows housekeeping out of the way. Nothing sexy here, but definitely the beginning of most VR issues start here. First of all, we want to make sure you have all the necessary Windows updates. We want to close any unrequired apps, overlays and bits and pieces. Pro tip, I use a product called WinHance. This is a little bit more aggressive way to optimize Windows. Again, no affiliation with the creator, simply a product I enjoy. I'll put a link to the product and a video on how to use in the description below. Use this one at your own risk. Next on the list is the nVidia drivers. Again, we're not looking for bleeding edge here. We want the newest stable driver. You can open your nVidia app, ensure you have the most recent stable driver. Once that's done and you've got the latest driver, there is a couple of things I make change to in the graphics tab. Under global settings, I switch the low latency mode, I switch it to ultra, and then power management, I make sure prefer maximum performance is selected. We get onto the Pimax Play. And here we want to go device settings. Now for me, I found this best for iRacing on my system. So I've switched back to 72 Hertz. Now a lot of people push the 90, but I found the stable frame rates and reliability comes best at 72. Everything else on the device tab, I leave as standard. Under the game tab, I want standard FOV or normal FOV selected. Use customize so I can see exactly what it is. I think high is the same setting, but use 1. In the GPU upscaling, I use 0. In the sharpness, I use 0.5. Now these are personal preference, so play with this. Everything else I have turned off apart from the hidden area mask. Ensure that you're running the OpenXR runtime, and everything else in here is default. And we get into iRacing. Do you want to go into your settings? Under the display tab, your resolution here, you want the lowest resolution you can select. 720 is great. 768 is great. This only affects the mirror screen. And under the graphics tab, we want to use the following settings. Sky and clouds, I use low or medium, depending on the track. Cars I use high, pit objects low, event high. Everything else in that section is low, with 2 pass trees and high quality trees disabled. Steering wheel hands as personal preference. Headlight details I use medium, this can be low. Cockpit mirrors, I use 0. I use a virtual mirror. Max cars, So I leave that at 63, doesn't make any difference. For the draw cars and draw pits objects, I use minimum. Shader quality I use high with no HDR. Particle details I use low. Shadow maps on, it adds some life. Walls needs to be turned off, everything else is off. Motion blur and everything in the post-processing effects is off. SSR is off. This is a massive drain. And I like MSAA 8 times on sharp. And again, that could be personal preference, but I find this gives the best result. nVidia Reflex, I use boost. I don't know why. It doesn't seem to make much difference. I just do. So for the last item in iRacing, which is arguably the most important, the VR tab. So in here, in VR mode, we want to select foveated. I use 35 and 40 as the two default sizes. Essentially, this is rendering the center of your view in a higher resolution than the outsides where you're not specifically looking. My headset doesn't have eye tracking, so that's off. And the 3D screen width and depth I use default. So that's essentially my setup from start to finish. I'll leave some footage on the screen now from in-car with overlay. You can see my GPU overhead is between 50 and 30%, which gives me plenty of room to move when things change or to go from track to track with consistency. If anyone else is looking for more detail or additional items or setup, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to help any other VR users out. I'll see you all on the next one.